Coping with Donald. I am Phil. It is Monday, March 10th. Excuse me. And you know how a lot of times I've been saying, let's focus on the big things and not what Donald Trump says or the dumb things he says or something like that. But today there were just so many, I have to concentrate on the dumb things that are being said and how they've become accepted or glossed over. Donald Trump was on an airplane today. And people were talking about a recession. And Donald Trump said, it doesn't matter, basically. We're going to make so much from tariffs. He threw a number out there that, off the top of his head. And you're going to be so rich, you won't know where to spend the money. Well, to be honest, I think we know where we're going to spend the money. We're going to spend the money on tariffs. Secondly, the White House came out with a statement that makes absolutely no sense at all to anybody who knows anything about math, 7th grade, 5th grade math. Illegal immigration is down more than 100%. Okay. Anyone? Illegal immigration is down more than 100%. And I guess we're putting the rest of it on credit cards. And we have to go back, excuse me, to the transgenic mice being called transsexual mice, making boy mice into girl mice, etc., from back on his address to Congress. Now, seriously, an address to Congress or a State of the Union, which he'll be doing next year because he's been president for the whole year. God help us. Has anything dumb ever been said to Congress during either a State of the Union address or just an address to Congress from a newly inaugurated president? I would doubt it. Side note here, whoever put that in as transsexual mice instead of transgenic mice, which are used for laboratory studying disease mice. They study them in labs to try to find cures for illnesses to humans. And whoever put that into the speech, you can be guaranteed that they're not DEI. Because Donald Trump doesn't hire anybody DEI. Which makes you kind of long for DEI, doesn't it? He came out later and doubled down on it in one of his reports, one of his interviews with somebody. So even after that in the speech, nobody went to him and said, Mr. President, don't talk about those mice anymore because here's what they really are. So don't say anything about transgender mice. No, he came out and doubled down on it. He doubles down on everything. But the most frightening part of that might be that Congress was like, yeah, transgender mice, Hey, let's get up and clap for him again for the 100th time, no matter what he says. They clapped for him because of talking about transgender mice. That shows you how much you can expect in help from them. These people, some people, they're going to determine whether there are people in this country that eat or have shelter, affecting millions of people. And that does not give me much faith. They also keep talking about the fentanyl. Oh my God, we're going to have tariffs if Canada doesn't stop the fentanyl coming through. You might as well say we're going to have tariffs if Canada doesn't stop the three-legged giraffes from coming through. Okay? I mean, because there is no fentanyl problem. This is a total straw man argument. It doesn't really exist, and it has nothing to do with tariffs. Okay? It's a totally separate issue that you might be able to work together with if you weren't threatening tariffs. So it has nothing to do with the fentanyl. Okay? It just has to do with Trump trying to find a way to weaken Canada so that he eliminates an example of a situation where government works for people and provides them health care through their taxes and higher education through their taxes. Okay? That's what he wants to do. He wants to eliminate an example, because you're like, oh, Cuba didn't work, Venezuela didn't work. But Canada is functioning as a social-minded democracy. And people like Trump and the people that give him money hate that. They want to have all the money. Okay? That's why they're so interested in bringing down Canada. Canada today picked a new prime minister temporarily. Mark Carney, he is, of the Liberal Party, and they're going to have elections to see if he wins, which he would have had no chance of winning before Trump got Canadians' hackles up, and they don't want to know anything about conservatives right now. So for that reason, Carney has a chance of winning. Otherwise, they polled at 11% earlier. I think this year. That was their support. Biden had 35%, and he didn't have a chance to win. We all know that. And he probably took the Harris campaign down a little bit as well, because people thought eggs were too expensive, blah, 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 which we're being told now, don't even talk about it. We don't want to know if things are expensive. Keep it to yourself. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about isn't even really about Trump. It is, but it isn't. Oh, I have one more thing. They're talking about, he asked Mike Johnson, get rid of the CHIPS Act. The CHIPS Act was to encourage companies to build in the United States their factories that make computer chips, etc., and AI chips and all that. So Intel was going to build a factory in Ohio, where Vance is from. So Trump says that, and Vance gets up and, oh yeah. Sorry if that was too loud. If that was too loud, I am sorry. That was loud for me. My ear rang. But it was working. Without tariffs, it was working. A few notes on the stock market, which is down today again. Just before I read this, I looked. It's a little after 12 o'clock. The S&P 500 was down 2%. The NASDAQ was down a little more than that. But 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30. If it's going to turn and at least dead cat bounce or something like that, it would be at one of those half hours and then go up considerably for the rest of the afternoon. If it closes at those lows, that's going to be pretty sad. I also want to mention that Tesla is down today 11%. And I hate to remind you of this, but the S&P still isn't even down 10% off its highs. If we were ever going to have a real market crash, it would be 30, 40, 50%. So for those of you who are hurting now, and I'm going to tell you something that bothers me. I know of two people that I know, who have a considerable amount of money. And they have investment advisors. One's with Wells Fargo, and the other one changed from Wells Fargo to Raymond James this year. And even a week ago, 2 weeks ago, they were being told no, don't cut back on what you've got. We're going to go full steam ahead. You don't want to miss any stock market gain. And so now, if they sell today, they're down probably more than 10% because they probably had some individual stocks which haven't done well. Meta went from $700 to under $600 today, I believe, over the last couple of weeks. That's 14% right there. 1/7, yeah. Probably 15%. And they could come back. But if financial advisors were that smart, wouldn't they have seen this coming? I mean, they get all sorts of information on credit card delinquencies and car loan delinquencies and employment, interest rates. They have all that. It's given to them. And they knew Trump was going to push tariffs, and they didn't think that this could be kind of a shaky situation with the stock market at an all-time high. Let's cut the exposure a little. Let's get some protection through the VIX, the VXX, something along those lines. These people this is what they do. And both of them were like, no, stay the course. Don't worry, be happy. And I'm really disappointed in that, to be honest with you. Anyway, hopefully we'll get some optimistic signs that the stock market will turn around. A lot of times the stock market just turns around without telling anybody, and whoomp, there it is, you know. But right now, the indicators still point to declines because we keep having, on most stocks and on the indices, higher highs. Lower highs as it's going down. When it bounces back to a lower amount, and then it starts to go down again, and we're having lower lows. And that's really what you don't want to see. So, let's just hope for the sake of all these people that their financial advisors know what they're doing. And I guess that's going to be it, because this one's getting long already. Oh, one more thing. I just want to bring up that corporate business taxes. I looked at my IRS booklet, how to fill out your form. And at the end, they have the pie chart. Corporate business taxes represent 7% of revenue for the country. 7%. And yet, a lot of people think that's way too high. I don't think it's way too high. 7%? This has been Coping with Donald. And I'm Phil. You have a wonderful day.